right now, there are times when it seems like it's an obvious buyer's market, and there's times when it seems like it's an obvious seller's market, and the decision is kind of, it's right there in front of you. Right now, you can look at a set of stuff that says you really should sell right now, and you can find some stuff that says you should really buy, and you can find some stuff that you should really sit and wait, and it's not conclusive right now. Yeah. Why do you think right now is the time to buy?
They just haven't used my magic 8-ball in a while. That's it.
I think for the first time ever, your magic 8-ball, I don't know, has been as accurate as it's ever been.
It is.
No one knows.
That's right. We've been hitting it out of the park the last couple of years for sure. But I think a lot of times the consumer gets focused on the wrong number, and I think that's where many people are today. They're kind of stuck on the interest rate. They've got all these, these high hopes that it's going to go back down to 4%.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
And I just don't see that.
I wish,
either,
but I don't know.
I don't know either. I think I think what we got to recognize is that number was fake, guys, and you just got to realize that was not a true interest rate. That was being manipulated, basically for 11 years, by the government pushing up the bond market, which drops long-term interest rates. It drops the mortgage rates down. But it was intentional and purposely done. And then we look, what happens is they stopped. And look at this. Over the last 50 years, mortgage rates have only been below 5% for 11 years. If you take and go back to 1971 and look at the average of all the interest rates over that time, it is 7.75%, which is pretty much in line with today's rates. And we're actually a little bit less than that. So when you look at basically a 40-year consistency, and the only thing that we have that's inconsistent about the low interest rates was that the bond market was being propped up, and it's, I mean, to me, it's not hard to understand when you stop doing one, then we go back to where we were for 40 years running, pretty much
to the norm,
to the normal. And I think as much as it stinks and. Yeah, there's people that are really upset because they missed out. I think for the overall economy, it's better when we are not artificially inflating anything. That's, I think, good for the public. In my opinion. Now, I don't know. There's all kinds of, I'm sure, debates and reasons why they had to do what they did. I don't know. I just know that I went through the crash of 7, 8, 9, 10, and we were trying to patch Band-Aids on everything. And at the end of the day, I think we would have recovered 10 times faster had we just let the market do what the market was going to do, and not, get in there and manipulate things again. But the other thing I was just thinking about is if you're thinking about purchasing a home, you just need to look at a longer term, a longer timeline, and think about 10 years. Even consider a 15-year mortgage. I mean, if you've got a plan to be in your home, 10, 11 years and you got a 15-year mortgage, I mean, you are in such a huge equity position by that time. You can do anything you want, really. I mean, and the funny thing about the 15-year mortgage is I've looked at a lot of them over the years, and I have yet to see a 15-year mortgage take 15 years to pay off. There's something magical, like when you get to year 13, 14, 13 and a half, and you're like, wow, I could really, I could crush this thing and just pay the house off. And that's what a lot of people do. It's what I do see a lot of people do that. So, and look, if you're looking at that 10-year plan and you've got your, whatever, your 15-year or your 30, whichever one you're looking at, and the rate does go back down to 4%, well, just refinance. I mean, there's a cost to it, but if you go from 7% to 4%, I mean, you're gonna eat up that cost really quick. I mean, it's gonna be super fast. So, I think it's just, we talked about this, many times. If the rates do drop to 4%, then, here's the other thing. Here's another factor you got to think about. The other numbers is now we're back into the bidding war situation, and are you financially in a position to be able to do that? And from what we saw the last 3 years is, I'd say, we were looking at 20 to 25 offers per house. Well, only one person gets the house, right? And so there's a lot of people back on the street, that didn't even get their offer accepted, and some of them didn't even get their offer considered because there was so many other stronger qualified buyers, whether it be that they were putting, the most money down or large down payments or large due diligence, all these different factors outside of just, hey, I've got a letter from the bank that says I'm 100% qualified, but I've only got $11,000 to put down on your house, and I'm competing with the guy that just put a $25,000 non-refundable due diligence fee down that says, if I don't buy your house, you can keep my money.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. I kind of lean toward that's a pretty good offer.
I would say so.
I definitely think it is. So guys, I just think you look at a little bit longer terms, and maybe, let's do the math on the rent, the higher interest rate, and the potential of where it may go. And I think if you can get your head around those numbers, it starts to make really good sense to buy a house.